can see, these are available planes, and today the only big planes I fly are intermediate difficulty in terms of what this world considers that, because the advanced ones are all propeller and stunt planes, which I'm not super interested in. As much as I think I can fly them, I'm not super interested in that. That's not exactly what I want to do. So one of these free, because that's an easier plane to fly. So one of these free that we were looking at here, I'm thinking I'm flying the middle one here because I don't think I've done that one before. So we're gonna do that one just to get a little feel for something new here. And yeah, this is actually uh, my second go at recording this because first time around I sounded like a goddamn cyborg. And you know, if you know anything about cyborgs, it's that it's YouTube who are the Borgs. If you don't get that reference, do not worry because it's not gonna come to you anytime soon. So let's try this plane that I've never tried before, and just usually you can see that it's like a box down here that you can go inside. This actually looks similar. If it's, I wonder if it's the same plane as that one, but it's got a different layout. I think that's what it is because there's only like two of these bigger planes. And however, we're going to change the camera here. As you can see, the spout camera here can have a little bit of issue following along when it's a plane we're talking about. However, here you can see that is me, and since we're going to fly here, I will put you guys kind of angled like this, but in the back, so you can see me and see the plane. So all there is to do now is to add some throttle, which you do with the shift key in this world. And when you're on land, you shouldn't go that fast, but that's not what we were going to be talking about. You will use Q and E actually to navigate left and right because I think it turns the wheel, which makes you turn a little better, a little smoother, and it just you know, lays the ground for a little smoother of a flight. And this is why I'm going over here because this is the actual proper main runway here. And do I really give a shit? No, because there's no one in this world. I made this friends only. But you can never be too good, too sure about something. So we are now on the runway. We're just going to pick up the speed here now. Just max it out. This one is, I believe, a faster plane indeed. So if I look, actually, you will be able to see some other scenery. That's because it's glued to me instead of anything else. However, this is where we turn up the gears, you know, flip them up, and let's see if there's any plane sounds at all, actually, because I have not. Yeah, okay, so now the plane sound is on, and so is the background music, which you can probably disable in the menu world, whatever, you know, main area, but I don't feel like doing that because I'm already in the air, and that means that I'm not exactly looking to do any handiwork. So we're just going to do the same thing I did last time. In fact, we're having a steady ascent, as you can see, quite sideways the plane. I believe you can see it at least. Yeah, you can kind of see that. If I turn a little like this, you might be able to see. Yeah, you can see we're kind of going sideways here. Some would even argue that it's a sideways flat brim angle, but you know, that's what you have to deal with when we're flying a plane. And once we're above the clouds, in fact, that's where we're starting to really pick up things. So last time I went up to 20K, and we're only at 12 right now. As you can see, the clouds are only about 12,000 above ground. I'm going to just boldly assume that that's feet, but it's a Japanese type server, so it could be kilometers as well. But I highly doubt that we are 17,000 kilometers, so I'm just gonna hope that it's feet. Oh, or it could be meters as well. So we really don't. I really have not the slightest clue what number that is. That's probably meters. And if we're 20, we actually just hit 20K. So we're gonna straighten out the plane here, and this is where I would tell you guys to just unbuckle your seatbelts, because now you are, in my opinion, allowed to walk around the plane. Just know that there might be some southern there might be some southern turns. I mean sudden turns. And by sudden turns, I mean like so, because we are in fact going to, in this short amount of time as possible, go back to the fucking landing strip. Now, however, if this is a little bit of a rocky flight here going on, that's okay. It's just a part of the experience. In fact, I don't know where the landing strip is. That's why I'm pointing my plane dangerously straight ahead, down for the whatever you call it again. And as you can see, I can't find the landing strip, which if you know anything about planes, that's not exactly a good thing. I do see some buildings that are useful to see. However, oh wait, never mind. We just found the landing strip, so we can actually calm down a little bit. See, this time it's actually going smoother because I have a lot more to work with. We can actually slow her down a little bit because we don't need to go 1,000 miles per hour. Not that we are going that, but we don't need to, is what I'm saying. And we can straighten her out, and you can see here, in fact, that by straightening it out, we're going to have a much bigger chance at actually landing evenly on the landing strip. Now we can turn the speed down a little more, even so, and we are going to take a little bit of a nosedive here, but that's because that is kind of the way she goes in this world. And unlike my last time, I am going to activate the gears now, as you need these for landing a plane. And now we're going to fully shut off the engine, hoping that it doesn't go down too low in speed to where we start descending and taking a hard hit, which is why I actually added some throttle again. If you don't see that, then I can't exactly know. I don't know if you see it, is essentially what I'm saying. And we are, in fact, now landed pretty safely. Actually, that was my best landing in this world so far. So we're going to hit the brakes a little there. And now we're going to steer with Q and E. However, WASD is how you do it in the air. This being to pull up. This so S is up, down is W, and then left and right should be pretty fucking easy to figure out for even 12-year-old, because it's A and D. If it's WASD, it would be A and D. But of course, on land, as I said, it's Q for left and E for right. Now, if you didn't figure out the Q and E, which one was left and right, you might need help in figuring out your directions, in the sense that you might have been questioning some other things in life, which is okay. But we might actually extend this one, as we have only touched, oh wow, 8 minutes. Wow, we actually, time really does fly when you're flying a goddamn plane. But we are in fact going to enter one of the other planes here. So we're going to turn around these ones here. We're doing a little bit of a skid there. That's okay. We're not exactly concerned about the on land operation of the planes, because I decided that I actually do want to try one of these smaller planes, which one of them, I believe the one I will be trying is actually still a form of a propeller vehicle. We don't exactly know. No, it's actually still this one's supposed to be an easier one, but the problem with calling this easier is that this plane is not easier to fly at all. In fact, some would argue that this one being called easier than that one is a bit of a lie, because last time I flew this one, I found out that it's a lot faster. And actually, believe it or not, if you go into the front seat, you can start piloting the fucking plane. But also, believe it or not, faster doesn't always mean better. And that's a very important lesson, because some people, they look at Lamborghinis, they're like, oh my god, they're so good cars. But then you actually look into like how unreliable they are, and it's really just a whole mess. And you're better off buying something else, really. The Ferraris and Lamborghinis are just built to look cool and go fast. They don't really give a damn about how reliable or how good it is. In it, and how that circles back to the fucking plane we're operating here is that they kind of focus in the same kind of mindset here. They make it more about the speed, because I think this is supposed to be like a jet plane, an express jet plane of sorts, and that's just that's how it is, and you can't really do much about that other than try to work with what you have. I'm gonna see if that's actually the speed. I believe that's the speed there on the left. So that is whatever we're going. I believe that would be kilometers, because I don't know if we're going knots in this game. I don't know if they're that advanced, which is where they added the calculation of knots. However, as this is a faster plane, it's going to take off much faster, like that. And the gears might be a little fast. Yeah, they're faster as well. So, I forgot to check if the... Oh, actually, yeah. The camera's perfect. Now, in this one, when we turn to the left, you can actually really see what's going on outside, and same to the right. You can really see what's going on. And that is just really technology at its finest, because the bigger view from this cockpit actually is what would make it considered to be easier to fly. However, it's maybe a little bit slower, because we're only going 100. We're losing speed. In fact, I think we were going faster with the other one, but that's because the other one is a passenger plane, so it's made to go from A to B much faster, and be able to carry a bunch of passengers in this process. Now you can actually adjust yourself with the Q and E in terms of like where you're going, but it's not as precise or sophisticated to do it that way, and that's why you just kind of want to rely on these controls that you have, and you kind of just take a little time here now. You can't exactly see what the dealio here is with you can kind of see now. We're only about 7,000 meters up, if this is meters. So that is actually already a testament to how much slower this one is. And in fact, this angle was completely fine in the other plane, but this one we're losing quite considerable amount of speed. And that's just the way it is. Some planes are much slower than others, and some are faster. So really, what it's about here, it's not snapping your neck, obviously, but yeah, I can see we were approaching. Okay, so it's actually more like 11,000 where you start to actually hit above the clouds. We hit the clouds about 10K, and now 11,000 is actually when you go above the clouds. I mean, it can depend, of course. Clouds can be at all kinds of altitude, but I think we're just going to do what we have the ability to do in terms of how much we're going. And as you can see with I believe you can see, yes, you can actually see the fuel. We have a good amount of fuel, actually. We could be flying for a long time here, actually, and that's just the way it is at some of these planes. Now you can see here, we can turn off the flaps, which actually I have no idea what turning off flaps means, because I don't fly a plane usually. But it actually, from what I'm seeing, it is increasing my speed a little bit, I think. I'm not sure. Yes, in fact, indeed. That is actually what it does. I don't know exactly what the flaps are. It might be part of the plane that I'm not able to see when I'm flying. However, it does in fact allow for the plane to gain some more speed when you're going up to the sky like I am, and we're actually about to hit the so very awaited 20K. Here you can see, probably if I show it like that, you can see we're going to hit 20K right now, and that is actually when we start to turn around. I don't know why I specifically decided that 20,000 is the exact speed that we'll start turning around and going back, but that is actually just something that I've decided, because it tends to be a good amount for you know what we're doing here. And I believe that is our... See, now when we're going downstream, this is a lot more dangerous to do. We're going to see that there's a couple landing strips. We're going to go for this one over here, since I am going to end the recording after this and probably just continue listening to Black Sabbath. In fact, turn it off for this video just so it wouldn't get striked. But it's not that it's not that I think it's going to get striked. It's probably going to get claimed. But I kind of just want this to be a peaceful little quiet video. And if it wasn't for the gay ass music, to put it nicely, trust me, that is me putting it nicely, by the way, I would have had the plane sound on, but that is not going to be possible today because unfortunately the music decided to not be very good and be annoying and in the way. And I do not plan on flying 2 planes all over again for a video and talking, because it takes quite a bit of energy to talk. So now we're gonna hit a hard dip in speed here, and we're gonna reel this one's... See, this is what I'm talking about. It's faster, so it's a little more intense to land. When it comes to like, it's more like faster in this place, like when it comes to the landing. And we did the first mistake again. So we're actually going to have to turn the plane around and add some speed again, because as you see, I kind of just took a dip into the ground without, putting down my gears. And that is not good, of course. That is very disastrous, if anything. So we're going to re-attempt our landing at that strip. I believe you can see it. Once we're turning around, you will be able to see it. Soon enough, you will be able to see something, I bet. Okay, well, we're gonna just hit a little bit of more speed up here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's the other strip here, which you're going to see now. You can probably see it. And that is, in fact, where we're going to be landing instead of over there. So we're going to be landing straight ahead. And this landing will be a lot better since now, like last time, I'm not talking so much that I'm forgetting, because that's what happened really. I was talking so much that I forgot that I was flying a plane. And the reason how that works is because when you forget you're flying a plane, you forget that to land a plane, you need to, put down the landing gear. So we're going to put down the landing gear. And now we're going to decrease the speed to 0. And we're going to actually kind of use the momentum here to descend here. And this time, without, failing miserably, we are in fact going to hit a pretty smooth landing, as we have lost quite a bit of speed here. And see, losing speed is not always a bad thing, because this time it means that we have safely landed. And that's just one of the many ways You can fly a plane in this game, and there's helicopters and stuff that I don't really take interest in. And like I said, I'm not here to fly stunt planes, helicopters, or any nonsense like that. That is complete nonsense to me. There will probably, however, be more videos of me flying these planes. In fact, I'm feeling a little frisky, so I'm feeling to the other one that I said was supposedly easy. They said it in the beginning of the map that it was an easy plane, beginner or whatever. So we're actually going to put that to the test, and this video will be extended by a considerable amount. Now I understand that I'm traveling a little bit faster than normal for being ground speed here, but that's okay because we're we're okay here. We're okay. Okay. So now we're going to hit some brakes because, as you can see, we're here. And that is, in fact, all the other planes you can see here. This is the propeller planes. There's been much room for passengers. So if we enter as passenger, we can check it out, see how it looks. But we probably need to change the camera to be adjusted to look at me, because otherwise you won't be able to see much. So here we go. There we go. And now, as you can see, there is quite a bit of a room here for a passenger. I was almost going to say space. Now, we can actually take a look at this one too, and we're going to change up the camera for that as well, because we're going to change the camera to shibidaboo, and by shibidaboo I mean a little bit of this. So it's behind me, and you can, in fact, based on this fact, see that there was a little bit of a flash there. So that is where we're going to enter. So now you can see, if I just adjust it a little bit to the left, which is fine. See, sometimes you have to adjust, and you can kind of see if I turn a little less, you can see that there's quite a bit of space here. There's some tables, and it's just a really cozy little plane. And yeah, so they are still pretty cool, but it's not what I want. I want bigger planes because I like flying big planes. So as you can see, that's the only big plane I have flown. In fact, I haven't flown the Beluga yet, but apparently the Beluga is supposedly a easier plane to fly, which we're going to put to the test, as I said. And I believe this is in fact a cargo plane that the reason why it looks the way it does is they put the cargo on top, which, you could probably find some engineers arguing for and against it. But I don't know, because I've never seen this before. So, I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so it's a normal. Okay, now I'm probably going to need to adjust. It technically is fine, but I will still adjust just a little bit so that we can actually fly this thing. And I will take a photo of myself first, flying this thing. Okay, there we go. Because I did want that to be closed. Wow, look at that. And I'm probably going to take a print, which is usually what I do anyway. And you're going to kind of get to sit in the co-pilot window here. So whenever I look to the right, we're going to have to move that a little forward, however. But it should work so that whenever I move a little to the right, you will be able to see yeah, we're going to have to fix that still. we can actually see there's a camera and stuff, so it's kind of high tech. So I guess we have no choice but to put it in the middle here. And in fact, I guess I'd put you guys here because then you guys can see the plane flying. But what's the fun in that, right? So we are in fact going to put it like so. Here we go. Okay, so this is my first time flying a beluga plane, and of course I'm assuming that the controls is the same. And we're just gonna take off a little bit here, a little speed, and slow down because we're still on land. On land, you only need the smallest amount of speed, really, with these bigger planes. You don't need to throttle that much because you need to have patience as well. I know a lot of people who don't have patience with planes. In fact, I saw some earlier. They were really flying poorly because someone who was impatient to land on the landing strip when I was there decided that the great idea to do was to fly right into me, which is just great because that allowed me to figure out that I should just make my own session, and that's why I'm in my own session here with only Flyers Allowed. So if someone who's a friend joins, they're not going to know how to fucking fly because they don't know the controls, unless I sit it down in the specific plane that shows the controls. Which is good for me because I'm not going to teach them unless I trust them, of course, because there are certain friends that I know here that I do not trust with a plane. However, we're going to take off a little bit here and see what the plane has to offer. In fact, this one I will even put into cruise mode, as this is meant to be a fun little experience. And as you can see on the cruise mode, it tends to adjust speed itself. I'm not exactly sure if whenever I turn it up, if it's going to turn down because it's nose heavy. I'm looking for that right now actually, and it doesn't seem to be the case now that we're actually catching some air. But that's why I don't want cruise, because see what it does. It kind of does it if you don't have maximum speed. Because when you lose a little bit of speed, you tend to lose a little bit of altitude. But we're going at a steady speed here, steady pace. If I just turn around a little bit, you can see that we're actually just starting to pick up some height. We're actually going 308, whatever the hell we're going. 308 kilometers per hour, I'm assuming, because that would make the most sense. So it's pretty fast. It seems pretty fun so far. We just hit the threshold of clouds. And in fact, we're really gaining some altitude here. At an insane pace, even. It's a great rate that we're gaining altitude, and that's nice to see, really, because this plane really has a lot to offer when it comes to the speed. I will put down the flash because it does actually make the plane faster. And we're actually about to hit 20k here pretty soon, so I'm actually gonna go to 25k because I don't think we're far enough away to turn around. So we're gonna have to sacrifice some altitude for the other stuff. And as you can maybe see, if I turn around a little bit, you can. We're gonna hit 25k immediately. In fact, we're hitting 25k right now, and that is really how simple it is when you have a plane that can go oh my god, it's fucking insanely fast. We're zooming. We're actually going 400 and well, right now it's going up and up, as you can see, but we're going currently 470 and we have actually hit 28,000. So we're going to turn this plane around and hope we see a landing strip. I hope I see the buildings. Okay, I do see them, and there are in fact down there. Now, I've never hit 1,000 in one of these, so I'm actually going to try to do that. This is not something you should do, but this is something I'm going to do because I'm going to try to hit as much kilometers per hour as possible. Okay, that's as much as I would dare do. And that's good because now we can see that we are in fact a little off center here. And our speed would actually help us correct much faster. So that's also great. And for any passengers who think this is a very rocky flight, you may be correct because I am in fact the one flying it. So I forgot to say that this is Kim the Cold Airlines, and we're kind of just yeah, we're kind of just not responsible for any damages or anything because in fact we like to take any damages cost from the experience flying the plane and add that to your taxpayer money because as you might know, we at Kim the Cold Airlines, we proudly work with the government to ensure that our passengers are as miserable as possible. So we're going to actually put down the landing gear if it wants to be put down. I want it to be put down, so let's put it down and let's try to land this one. And a little bit of a rough landing here because we're going 200, but I'm holding the brakes, and eventually we are done. See, that wasn't so bad. I mean, you can thank me later for being a professional pilot. However, if you never want to fly with me again, that's completely understandable, as I would not fly with me again either. Now, does that mean I don't plan on flying any more planes in this? However, that is something completely ridiculous to assume. But it does, however, mean that if I were you, I would not be in this plane right now. So that's really all I have to say. We're going to hit one of the terminals over here. We're going to actually pick up some speed so we can get there faster. Don't worry about the speed we're picking up. We're going to go a little fast here. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the fact we're going 150 fucking kilometers per hour. But we're going to hit the brakes and pray to fucking God that we don't crash and die over here. Because this has been your flight with Kim the Cold Airlines. Thank you for flying, and I hope you never come back, because if you do, there's a high chance you're going to sue us, and that means that you agree to play by our rules, as you cannot physically sue us. Actually, that's why we have you sign a paper that is disguised as a kind of form to declarate or whatever you have, but it's in fact a NDA or whatever. You're actually signing a paper that allows us to not be liable for anything that happens, any risk that or any shock, any fear that it may be put onto the passenger. We are not liable because you signed our papers, and actually we don't even need you to sign the papers because we have already set it up so that we've hidden it in our website's rules, a very, very bottom, in very, very tiny text, so that you need glasses with 2 times fucking zoom just to fucking read the text. That we are not reliable for any injuries or fear or mental, trauma from flying with Kim the Cold Airlines. Because we realized that early on when we were threatened to be sued, as we almost, and by almost I mean by the hair of our wing, we nearly clipped a building, much like those over there, if you can see them. If we turn more to the right, you might be able to, you can kind of see it. We can actually show this. So much like one of those that one actually, though, I believe it was actually that one right there, that little building. We nearly clipped it with our wing. In fact, missing it by a mere inch, just barely surviving because I decided to take a sideways landing, and we were almost sued because they thought that that was an unprofessional landing, and they thought that I was not a pilot worthy of flying a plane. However, we quickly told them that unfortunately, this is something we were unaware of, as we specifically try to give as many beginners the right to fly as possible, and we weren't aware of this because I'm supposed to be kind of like the head of company. So the fact that I was the problematic pilot, that's why we kind of had to sign it into our rule system, where we're not liable because it's just the way she is, the way she goes, and because of that, any damages, injuries, or mental trauma, or anything that is caused by our flights that could be considered negative, is we're not liable for it. We're not even liable for if you get murdered on the plane, if you feel threatened by the pilot, or if the pilot says a racist remark. We're actually not liable at all for that, because we put that into our company policy so that no one could actually sue us. And as for who the person that threatened to sue, well, let's just say they walked back with a refund and a slap on the wrist, because we had to slap them on the wrist to really make sure that they didn't speak again. And by slap on the wrist, we mean that we threatened to kidnap their family and hold them hostage until they corrected their words if they were to try to sue us. So they didn't follow through with the lawsuit, and we were all good. So this has been a little tour of Kim the Colt Airlines. And if you ever want to go to another country, well, you better fucking strap in, because there's no guarantee you're going to arrive. So that's all for me. Bye bye.